Casey, people always ask us why we chose Middle Tennessee.
And typically the people that are asking that question are people that have already decided to make the move.
And I think what they're really trying to ask, did the move actually live up to the expectation that we originally had?
Yeah. After the boxes are unpacked and you start to settle in and you get to the gym and meet the kids' parents and all the things, was it really worth it? Was it worth the move?
The truth is, after 10 years of being here, I don't think that it was just worth the move. It actually exceeded expectations. In fact, I would say exceeding might not even be the right word. It really redefined what life could look like for our family.
Yeah. You know, after we moved, I can remember feeling like the pace of life here was just different. The rush and the hustle and bustle of California, it just didn't exist here.
Yeah, it was almost like a detox. Like we had to move here and get acclimated to a slower pace of life, but it was slow in all the right ways.
Yeah, it's really easy to feel like you are constantly in the rat race when you live in a state that's high taxes and you know, it's expensive to live. And so I can just remember feeling like everybody had this sense of, hey, just slow down, just enjoy the things that matter. And I just didn't realize how rushed we were in our life until we moved here.
Yeah, I think the word that comes to mind is margin. We created margin in so many areas of our life, and one of those things was even time. You know, everything else that was affected by that word margin created time for us. And we kind of had to sit a little bit in the moments, the stillness, and just accept the fact that we had that margin, and it's been really beautiful ever since.
Yeah, for sure. It's really easy to come from California and think that you have to come at the same pace. And you think, because you run at that pace, that everyone else does too.
Yeah.
But the reality is that's just not the way that it works here. Yeah. It's really nice. It took a little while for me to feel like Middle Tennessee was home. I can remember the first year was really difficult. I didn't know the roads. You know, it's like we used GPS to go everywhere. We just weren't familiar with people, didn't know our neighbors. But after about a year and a half, I can remember feeling like, okay, this place is really starting to become ours.
Yeah, it really became a special place. I think when we started getting plugged in community, and we allowed that to happen. You know, I think a lot of times you come in and you're taking some previous experiences from other places that you lived, and you might feel a little guarded. And so when we just kind of allowed ourselves to be immersed in the culture here, it was crazy how quickly it became home, how quickly those relationships with our neighbors and parents at our kids' schools, and those things just really blossomed into something beautiful, and
Yeah.
It feels like home now.
Yeah, I think we were much too worried about the right house
Yeah.
to live in. And now, in retrospect, you know, of living here over 10 years, it had nothing to do with the perfect house. It had everything to do with getting plugged into a community
Yeah.
and meeting people and really making this our own. In fact, I can remember we had gone on a business trip after living here probably about a year and a half. And as we were flying into Nashville, we just looked at each other and we said, gosh, it feels so good to be home.
Yeah.
But it took a little while to get to that point.
Yeah. There's too much emphasis a lot of times on the actual physical address of a place. And that's important to kind of know where you're going to do life. But what people don't understand is the house doesn't make this place home.
Yeah.
The magic of Franklin and Williamson County in Tennessee, the people, the neighbors, and ultimately those relationships, that's what has made it really feel tangibly like a place we can call home. A word that keeps coming to mind that I know has changed in us since we've moved here is the word priorities. But I immediately feel like it's tied to a word I said a few minutes ago, which is that word margin. And how do you focus on what's important whenever you don't have margin? You know, you're operating out of a place of kind of emergency, right? Like everything's rushed, everything is tight. You gotta make enough money to cover taxes and the extra costs of utilities and gas and all of these things. And then when that margin is there, it allows a little bit of freedom. And I really feel like that's affected our priorities to focus on what matters most.
Yeah, I think that there was a heavy weight on what you were involved in,
Yeah.
where we used to live. Like, what elite sports and what neighborhood and where's the closest shopping area. Those things quickly fall away if you don't have the right priorities. And I think that Tennessee has really taught us about diving in and putting your roots into a community and knowing the people that live around you and making sure that you're present for your kids and being involved in the schools. All of those things are just not able to happen sometimes in other places.
Yeah, it's being present where your feet are. We've heard that statement and we feel it. We experience that. It's when we're at our kids' game, we're fully present at their game. When we're sitting at a meal with friends, we're fully present. We're not occupied with all of the stresses of life because we've created margin.
I think I have learned a large lesson just with contractors. You know, we redid our house, we ripped it down to the studs, and a lot of these contractors that would come in would give you a bid, and there was no contract for you to sign. And I'm not saying that's always a bad thing or it's always a good thing, right? But when someone comes in and just gives you their word, it places a lot of weight on people. And again, I think the priority is like, can I trust people here?
Yeah.
And are people genuinely good here? And I think that we found that to be true as well.
Yeah.
Tennessee has taught me a lot about wealth. True wealth feels like it's actually measured with time, and it's time with people that you love. And that is something that people in the South know better than anyone else, I think, in the United States. And that is just spending quality time with people, having quality experiences, and not feel like you're always on the go, hitting the next thing.
Yeah. Wealth is, I feel like it's more of a mindset. It's more of an abundance mindset, right? Of course, you can have a padded bank account and that helps and it creates margin and you know, clarity of thoughts and everything where you're not worried about things. But overall, I think it really has to do with the way that we approach and think about problems. And then, of course, how money and finances, how it actually gives us time back, and then ultimately what we do with that time.
Yeah, I think, you know, living in the Bible Belt, there's a lot of those values that translate over to wealth. And I think because there's such a spirit of community here and there's such a spirit of helping and just genuine care, that wealth stretches far beyond yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not just what can we build in our family, it's what can we build as a community, as a city, and that feels really cool.
To not have that tension of competition, right? But have really a collaborative spirit where you feel like the people that you've met, the people that you've chose to do life with, your neighbor, your friends, they're cheering you on. They want you to succeed, and ultimately, I think we all really want the same thing.
Yeah.
We want that time to focus on the things that matter most.
Yeah, I think wealth looks very different in Franklin. It's not what I expected. There's a lot of extreme wealth here in the area, but one of the most beautiful things is it is so down to earth, and it is so tangible, and it is so kind, and it is so giving. Makes me want to cry. Thinking about that. It's just not the same as in other places where you feel like you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and it's what car do you drive, and it's this and it's that. Here in Tennessee, it's different, and I really like it.
We live in the greatest country in the world, and there's never a shortage of opportunities. Our entire country is built on the creation of opportunities and the freedom to pursue those things. I feel like what is dwindling and what makes Franklin such a special place, and Middle Tennessee in general, is that those opportunities are also there with the values that we see as opportunity for generations to come, right? It's not some place where there's opportunity to go make some money, but yet it's not necessarily the type of place you want to raise a family. This is a place that our kids are excited to come back home to. It's a place where there's financial opportunity for them. And that to me just makes that word legacy just come alive.
Yeah, I think the state of Tennessee has done a phenomenal job with offering, you know, big corporations a landing pad. And because of that, it has just created this vitality inside the community, and that feels really good as our kids get older and get into college and want to return, and they want to get into healthcare or IT or whatever that opportunity is for them. It really does blend the opportunity for work and the values of family.
And the ability to dream I don't want my kids to live in a place that's legacy to me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want my kids to live in a place where they don't feel like they have the opportunity to dream. They don't feel like there's examples around them beyond us, right, that they can aspire to and think a little bit bigger. And I feel like Tennessee is such a welcoming place for dreamers.
10 years ago, we didn't have all of the answers on why moving to Tennessee was going to be the best option for our family.
I think we felt pressure to have that answer. I think a lot of people were second guessing, why are you moving across the country, and not being able to have that answer. That was kind of a difficult thing, you know, to move forward with. But we had a feeling.
Yeah. And I think the recipe was there. We had all of the right ingredients. We could see that from afar, but we just didn't understand how that recipe got put together.
Yeah.
And now hindsight is 2020, and we know it's the best move we could have ever made.
So if you could go back 10 years and tell yourself something to encourage you, what would it be?
I would look at us and I would tell us, trust your gut. Trust your gut and take the first step, and you will not go wrong.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
What would you say to yourself?
I would just tell myself and give myself permission to not have all the answers, and encourage myself that the discovery process and what I find out about us and what ultimately we're supposed to do and the potential that we can have in life, that's the beauty of the 10-year process, to embrace that and not be too afraid to take the risk.
And I think both of us would say, don't be afraid. Step out in faith, and your path will be made straight.
Yeah. We're Kyle and Casey Wallace. We're real estate agents in Franklin, Tennessee. And you might be sitting in your living room right now, looking at your spouse and asking, is a move to Middle Tennessee, could that be in our cards? And there's not a greater honor that we feel doing what we do than to walk with people through that decision making. So whether that starts with an email or a phone conversation with us, we would love to connect with you and your family and be a part of your story.